There's genocide against the poor in this country. There's genocide against Muslims in this country. There's genocide against Christians in this country. There's genocide against children in this country. To now separate it and say maybe it's one religion or the other. Interestingly, Nigeria doesn't count or do DNA of people who are killed to determine whether they are carrying a Bible or a Quran. So the number of people that were abducted on our road yesterday, did anybody find out whether they are Christians or Muslims? Whereas the US can nitpick symbolically to say, because they have policies, definitely. They say, oh, there are genocides against Christians in Nigeria. Why is the US not taking the same position in Gaza? That there's genocide against Muslims by Israel. So there's international hypocrisy about that. In a country where they are killing 6,000 people a day, you did not designate the killer as a genocidal government. But you are here. Please, let's be careful. I am not in any way defending what is happening in Nigeria. But I'm just saying that the problem with Nigeria has nothing to do with religion. It's complete irresponsible leadership and insecurity that kills everybody.
Yes.
What about when the terrorists go and kill people in the mosque? When you talk about insecurity in this country today, it happens more in the north, in the Muslim part of the north. And that's the truth. That's where they go to mosque. I think they killed about 35 people in a mosque in Kas. And the people who killed them were not Christians. They are probably people who identify as Muslims.
Extremists.
But the truth is that we like to water down the responsibility of our leaders by this gives them an alibi. And then the US will come with a policy to say we want to protect Christians. It's okay. Let's bring a big boat and take all the Christians out and see if nobody will get killed again. The ones that is bothering our people is the taxing of prostitutes. That is, but that's on a lighter side. You see, any form of taxation without responsibility will fail. What the Tinubu regime is doing at the federal level is what they used to do in Lagos. There's a difference between taxation and extortion. What they want to start doing now is extortion. And when it gets to that level, trust me, there will be a different level of resistance, especially when you are taking for the poor that you give nothing to. So let them go and do their taxation policy. The people will respond at the appropriate time.
Yes.
So how do you tax people whose minimum wage is less than 100,000 naira? How do you tax people who have nothing to eat and you give them nothing in return? How do you tax them? So people must understand that taxation is not just anyhow issue. But I'm sure they'll learn when it gets to that point. Yes. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Are you good? Yes. Well, this is our this is our fifth case this week. All of them, but this is the third criminal case, and there are other two civil cases that we filed against Facebook and Twitter, the DSS, and all of our adversaries. There are plenty. They keep growing on a daily basis. But today's case has been around since 2022. It was a case filed by Ned Woko. the content creator senator who claimed that Sowore reporters and myself defamed him. But we haven't been able to get an arraignment because it was filed on the basis of malice. And I think even as bad as the court wants to be sometimes, they understand some of these nuances. So again today, there was no arraignment. They asked us to come back on November 20th, 2025, to come and listen to more preliminary objections and objections. But that's not the issue. We don't have problem with all these things. I just want people to know that, don't be worried for me. This is what we are designed to do. We are here to fight against oppression. We are here to demolish those people who say this country will not progress in our lifetime. And we are here to continue to mobilize against impunity, whether they come from the president, the senator, a policeman, the IGP of police, DG of DSS, or in some cases they come from priests, pastors, imams. There's nothing we haven't seen in this country, and especially this year. This year has been an interesting year.
Yes.
And I predicted it in January when they sent me a letter to appear before the police at the FID. I said, this is going to be an interesting year. So we're trudging on, no doubt about that. So that's where we are.
Okay, so if you are to look at some of the issues that are actually arisen in the face of independence, and then in the pending cases, why yours is always for, what would you say is really wrong? Is it a systemic issue?
A lot of people didn't know me until very recently. In fact, I was doing an interview with a foreign journalist last week. It was Radio Delshawela. And she said, what's the problem with you and government? And when I said, I've been fighting government since 1989, she said, wow, I was born in 1995. So, and you're still fighting. So I think what happens is that the moment you have an uncompromising position against oppression or against corruption, impunity, and everything that is wrong with governance in Nigeria, they throw everything at you. They don't do that, yes, they don't do that to other people who don't challenge authority. They might respond to others in press statements. They don't respond to me. They lob grenades at me, And you know that there was a time I was shot by a police officer in this country. There was a time my nose was broken, my brother killed. And by the way, I'll use this opportunity to talk about my brother's killing. They called us last week, the police in Edo State, that they finally want to try the killers of my brothers and asked us to come to court. We dispatched a family member there. They said, oh, there's a promotion exam for judges. They postponed it again. They confessed to my brother that one of the guys they claim was one of his killers has died in detention.
Okay.
So if the person that died in detention is not there, how do you successfully try the other two? But I can guarantee you that the reason they did that is because they've seen that the high-profile things they are doing against me is going to attract scrutiny over every other thing, because I'm speaking about it consistently. So that's the nature of it. So what you are seeing is as a result of our refusal to give up on Nigeria. And a lot of people say it, and you might want to agree with them sometimes that, oh, is Nigeria worth dying for? Well, the truth today is that if you don't die for Nigeria, Nigeria will kill you. So you better choose,
How to die.
how to die. So it doesn't matter. And it goes beyond even just dying for Nigeria. Is that Nigeria is such an embarrassment to humanity that wherever you go, Nigeria will follow you there. Yes. I was reading on my way here a Nigerian that was deported to Ghana. They wouldn't even give him the privilege of being deported to his own country. They deported him to Ghana. Ghana deported him to Togo. And then he has to find this. How worse can it get? And when we challenge these people, of course, they do all kinds of things against us. Yes.
So, there has been of recent terrorist invasion.
Got another message that some 5 people were kidnapped and a few people killed. A bread seller was killed even today. I'd already said it, and you can just look at the records of my interviews that Nigeria has failed to the point that the leaders of Nigeria are happy that there's more and more territory taken by terrorists and bandits so that they don't have to govern. It's the best excuse you can have to say, look, I would have done a route, but terrorists are taking over the place. But the question you should ask yourself is, what is the definition of terrorism? And if you look at the definition of terrorism very well, it is Nigerian government that's actually a terrorist organization. If you doubt me, go and ask the judge in Canada who ruled that the APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, including Nigerian police, was ruled as a terrorist organization. So what else can I tell you?
Sir, Obasanjo of recent said Nigeria's population growth is not tackled by the year 2050, that Boko Haram will be in child sport. Do you stand with this position?
Obasanjo has no leg to stand on when we talk about population. How many kids does Obasanjo have? He has a kid almost the size of a city, but that's not the issue. The issue is that population is not a barrier if a country is well governed, if there are leaders who know what they are doing. The most, prosperous countries today are the countries that have the highest population, China, India. But it will be a problem, what he should have said is that if you have a huge population that are not educated, that are not taken care of, Boko Haram will happen. Even if the population of your country is 200,000 people, and you have useless leaders, there will still be Boko Haram in that country. There's no, but if you have upward, mobile, well-educated population, you are ready for prosperity. Go and ask China, India. And Nigeria has 200 million people that are ready to take on the rest of the world. But certain things needs to be done. But, I don't like to discuss Obasanjo because they're the ones who failed this country to where it is today. They will just come around and pick microphone whenever they like because the country has not punished them for the evil they did to the country.